Welcome, Janell Shirtcliff, the co-writer director of Habit, which is debuting in select theaters and on demand this Friday, August 20th, and then will be debuting on Blu-ray and DVD on August 24th. So how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to talk to you about this film, brief as it may be. I'm just going to dive in. Habit is about three young women who wind up posing as nuns in order to get out of a drug deal kind of gone bad or a botched drug situation. The movie is irreverent, but not quite blasphemous. There's a lot of sexuality and violence and other things that might make the faithful squirm. But in the end, Bella Thorne's character, Mads, she has a legit relationship with God. Were you and co-writer Libby Mintz on the same page when it came to issues of religion and spirituality while you were writing the script? Or was there a struggle to come up with this particular vision?
Wow, you really jumped right in, huh?
Yes.
Oh boy. Were we on the same page? Yeah, totally. I mean, even though we kind of come from different sides. I mean, Libby's Jewish. I grew up Catholic and then Christian. So, there were some different policies we were raised with, but overall, we have an affinity for a lot of the same iconic imagery and hold like a strong respect for God and things like that. So, we had to, I wanted to have it be shocking and racy, but also trying to maintain, some respect in there as well.
Were you drawing on any particular influences when it comes to the story? Because frankly, I was hard pressed to think of another situation where I've seen a character like Mads who is carrying on a relationship, a rather unconventional one, with the deity she believes in, but isn't portrayed as being crazy or in service of something else. I mean, this is supposed to be these what she understands the scriptural biblical God. Is this something that you were trying to put into the stream of consciousness as far as movies because you hadn't seen it before, or were you picking up on something and expanding on other ideas that you may have seen?
Well, no, I mean, for me, there was a lot of I think myself that I did put in. I mean, when you're writing a character, you tend to inject some of yourself in it. It kind of happens on accident. I mean, I've never done a lot of the stuff that she's done, that's for sure. I've definitely never done heroin or slept with a priest that I know of. So, it was a heightened version. But as far as having a uniquely personally tailored relationship to God, Jesus, the universe, what have you, whatever anybody wants to call it, I think it kind of was like a call out where even the most messed up of individuals that's doing crazy stuff can still somehow have somebody to answer to, and that was her anchor. So that's kind of, for me, I mean, it's somewhat similar. I mean, I don't, totally do it exactly how she did, but it's your own personal thing, your own personal Jesus. Yeah.
When you were writing the script and even shooting the film and working with Bella and the others, did you struggle or realize anything new about your conception of faith? Did that evolve, or had you figured it all out before you even started rolling camera?
I mean, I think that's that's an interesting question, because I think with life, faith, all that stuff, I mean, it's an ever evolving lesson that you're learning. So what did I learn? I guess it would be, I did actually learn to kind of embrace, my personal version of faith, and just kind of let your freak flag fly with it. And we all, I mean, I think that's just kind of called growing up, but yeah, there's that.
Well, I want to talk about the film's aesthetic because it is just as out there, I think, as the subject matter itself. A lot of the colors and the compositions reminded me of Rolling Stone magazine's, photo shoots from the '90s. Especially where you see Mads or Bella Thorne splayed out in the front of her car praying. It's very taboo, very erotic, but also strangely spiritual. Did you and Libby build your screenplay out of these ideas for these tableaux, or did the imagery come from the writing?
I mean, I think the imagery kind of came, well, I mean, I always like, I have a very visual mind. So, there's certain things that I had kind of set that I always see a scene, down to lighting, what shirt they're wearing, the socks, the shoes. Like when I'm writing, I have all that like stored in like a file cabinet in my head. So, and I make a color palette whenever I'm shooting something, of course, with my Pantones. So, that was already there. I think sometimes if you look at my other body of work from photography, it makes sense that was the color scheme that we had in the movie. So.
Well, and this is your feature directorial debut. So your career goes, back to modeling, acting, photography. What did you pick up from that sort of previous life that, aside from the obvious that you kind of just mentioned, that prepared you for directing a film? And what did you encounter while making the film that you feel that you couldn't have been prepared for?
Well, I would say the number one lesson that I learned is how to treat people and make them feel comfortable. So I think I would say, I mean, I'm very close with all the main players in the film. We kind of became like a family. So really taking the time to talk through and like work out any issues or stuff on set with like a scene where like, oh, I have to see it this way. I'm like, I like to make sure everybody feels understood and like super safe, which is one of the reasons why I didn't overexpose nudity or use that as a tool to like get like shock value. I mean, I did some other stuff, obviously you've seen it.
Yes.
I want to spoil it, so I won't say what that is. But yeah, I mean, that, and just probably being in a bunch of like doing some bad stuff. Sorry,
You can swear if you need to.
Oh, okay. My mouth stuff. Yeah, so it's probably some of that, but I've also worked with really great people too. So it was, I've seen the good and the bad. So it helped me, learn that.
Was there anything unexpected that, I mean, you've been around the industry, you've probably seen a ton of movies and heard about filming experiences. Was there anything that surprised you? Like, I didn't think this was ever a possibility, good or bad?
I guess I mean, the exhaustion of directing a film is like, I mean, I've had 2 kids by myself, and I can tell you I didn't really realize like how much to mentally prepare myself for the fact you basically aren't going to like sleep for like months. It felt like, I mean, obviously I did sleep, but what I mean? You're like, there's the long hours and everything, it's different. It's very different from when you're like directing like a short or like a commercial or a music video. You have like a few days of it, but doing like a whole feature. And I didn't even, we only shot for like 16 days. So I can't even, it's definitely that was a lesson for sure. But
cool.
Yeah.
Now, last question. The film is, it's coming out. I'm assuming people that like maybe friends and family have watched it, perhaps people that you may have grown up with and know about your kind of religious leanings. Any shocked or disapproving expressions, or do folks seem to get it?
Well, it's funny that you say that. I did let my mom watch it, because I wanted to show her out of respect before, because my mom is very firm believer in God. So I was actually really, because there was definitely a little uproar when it got leaked that the movie was coming out and all that stuff, and my mom was like, geez, what did you do with this movie? And so when I finally got to show her and to hear her be like, what was all that fuss really about? Like, you're just like making your art. Like, I was like, oh, thank God, because I was a little nervous, I didn't want to upset her at all and, maintain respect in that sense. So that was a relief. But yeah, maybe
Cool.
that.
Well, well, it's nice to hear that though, because that, from what I understand of Christian faith, the idea of forgiveness and understanding, and each person's individual relationship with their faith, it's nice to see that you've got that support with your family. So yeah, I thank you very much for talking with me about Habit. I think it's a really wild and inventive film, and I'm anxious for people to see it. So thanks for talking with me, and good luck with the film.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye.